Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining the meeting today. Today, our topic is faith for overcoming obstacles. Now, at the present moment, because of the pandemic, the world crisis, and the economic situation, a lot of us are discouraged, depressed, overwhelmed, and don't know what to do. But this is exactly the time we need to face the obstacles head on. I remember at the very beginning of my practice, a senior member in Hong Kong taught me, she said, "Lydia, when you face obstacles or challenges or difficulties, they are lessons for you to learn. You have to overcome them, or else they will come to you again and again, every time more severe than the last." Okay, and since I've learned, I would never be swayed by the obstacles. I would face them head on and find ways to solve them. But how do we overcome obstacles? What are obstacles? In what form do obstacles appear? So today I've chosen this topic with the hope that we gain insight into how to overcome and win over. Now, the info I got and going to share are articles published in SGI official website. So let's start. Quote, "Faith for overcoming obstacles. When we exercise with weights, the resistance strengthens our muscles and helps them grow. Similarly, the difficulties and challenges we encounter along the journey of life enable us to strengthen and improve our lives and character. By applying our Buddhist practice to facing and winning over challenges, we train and develop our muscles of wisdom, life force, courage, and compassion. These qualities accord with the state of life called Buddhahood. When we view things this way, our problems become opportunities to build a solid foundation for unshakable happiness." Question. We often hear about the 3 obstacles and 4 devils in Nichiren Buddhism. What are they? Answer. Attaining Buddhahood is an ongoing effort to strengthen our inherent Buddha nature. It is also a struggle not to give in to our fundamental darkness, which is our most deeply rooted disbelief in the truth of our own Buddha nature. Nichiren Daishonin explains that as we strive to reveal our enlightenment, the 3 obstacles and 4 devils will invariably appear, and the wise will rejoice, while the foolish will retreat. The 3 obstacles and 4 devils refer to the functions of fundamental darkness arising from our own lives and the lives of others. The 3 obstacles are 1. Earthly desires, 2. Karma, and 3. Retribution, which is payback. The 4 devils are 1. The 5 components, which are form, insight, understanding, will, and consciousness. In Chinese, it is 受想, 識受想行識. 2. Earthly desires. 3. Death. And 4. Devil King of the 6th Heaven, 第六天魔. Nichiren writes, the devil of the 6th heaven enters the lives of a man's wife and children and misleads them. He also possesses the power of a supreme ruler, for example, a king or top government official or your boss or employer, in order to threaten the practitioners of the Lotus Sutra, or causes parents to hinder the faith of devoted children or partners of any relationships. To give you an example, a close relative of mine was introduced to chanting long time ago. However, every time she started to chant, her boss would scold her, She didn't understand why and she didn't ask, so she decided to give up. These obstacles will definitely emerge in our lives to try to hinder our Buddhist practice. In fact, if we encounter such obstacles, it means that we are practicing correctly. Now, however, without knowing it, sometimes we represent our own obstacles. I'll give you an example. There is a member in Hong Kong whom I met long time ago. And at the time when I met her, she said that she had been practicing for 5 years and she still hasn't got the Gohonzon. And I asked her, why are you practicing and you are not getting your Gohonzon? And she said that because her husband failed in business, so she, her husband, and her 3 sons had to move in with her father, living with the parents and her brothers. And the father had a big shrine with a lot of statues of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And she did not have the courage to ask her father to get rid of the shrine and to receive the Gohonzon. So at that time I told her, I said, you think your father would not agree. But if your will is very strong, you can chant and chant and chant, and then your father will agree to it. And I think very quickly, she told me that her father agreed to having the Gohonzon and to remove the shrine. Now I think this is a miracle. I didn't know how she did it, but she did it, I think with a lot of chanting. And you know what? When the shrine was removed, they found a whole nest of white ants behind the shrine. So if they hadn't removed the shrine, the whole house would be ruined. You know how white ants would eat up all the woodworks and then would destroy your house? But because they wanted to enshrine the Gohonzon and remove the shrine, the big shrine, so they saved the house. So this is a blessing. And she just thought that her father would disagree, but in fact, the chanting really worked for her. Okay, next question. Why do we need to know about devilish functions? Answer. In order to avoid being influenced, frightened, or caught off guard by these cunning devilish functions, it is helpful to know why and how they appear. Fundamental darkness manifests as the devil king of the sixth heaven, which represent negative forces that manipulate the will of others, make people fall into evil paths, bringing forth doubts and negativity from within our own lives, or utilizing the negativity of others to sway us. Question. So how do we identify devilish functions? Answer. As stated earlier, devilish functions arise in confusing form and are difficult to recognize and identify, aiming to deprive us of the benefit of our Buddhist practice. They emerge to make us doubt the power of faith in the Lotus Sutra, create conflicts between mentor and disciple, separate us from others, undermine our belief in our Buddhahood, and prevent us from breaking through our perceived limitations and achieving our goals. Nichiren explains, the devil king functions to cut off the flow of wisdom in people's lives, destroy the roots of goodness they have achieved, and keep them stuck in the 3 poisons of greed, anger, and foolishness, causing them to continue the cycle of suffering. The devil king also employs the help of 10 armies to obstruct our Buddhist practice. These functions, which arise from our fundamental darkness, are 1. Greed. 2. Worry. 3. Hunger and thirst. 4. Love of pleasure. 5. Drowsiness and languor. 6. Fear. 7. Doubt and regret. 8. Anger. 9. Preoccupation with wealth and fame. And 10. Arrogance and contempt for others. A prime example of the devil king is the Nichiren social priesthood, Ruled by the three poisons, they created division, confusion, and doubt among practitioners, ultimately excommunicated SGI in November 1991. In the 13th chapter of the Lotus Sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha describes 3 types of people who will persecute and try to stop the sutra's practitioners from spreading its teachings. These are arrogant lay people, arrogant priests, and arrogant false mentors who combine with lay authorities to persecute the sutra's practitioners. The common thread among these 3 powerful enemies is arrogance. They believe that they are better than others. The first of the powerful enemies is described as those ignorant of Buddhism, who denounce and speak ill of those who practice the Lotus Sutra, who directly attack practitioners and try to ruin their social standing or even their well-being. Well, I have experienced this in my own life, in my practice. At the beginning of my practice, a very close relative of mine just teased me and said a lot of bad things about me for practicing because he didn't know what I was doing. He said it's superstitious or I'm obsessed, but he didn't know about it. So he made fun of me and ridiculed. Okay, so the second of the powerful enemies comprises arrogant and cunning priests who, believing themselves superior to others, deviously try to associate themselves with the powerful while looking down on the people. The enemies in this second category claim to have mastered Buddhism, but refrain from practicing the correct Buddhist teaching. Instead, they slander and attack those who earnestly practice and uphold that teaching. I've said this in my last meeting, the Chinese meeting. There are monks and people who said that do not practice, do not chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, do not believe in the Lotus Sutra because there is evil in the sutra, and they are wrong. Okay, the third and most powerful enemy corresponds to priests who pretend to be and are respected as mentors, but whose true motives are status and profit. Nichiren social priesthood is the best example of the above 3 powerful enemies. Question: how then do we win over such negative functions? Answer: President Ikeda urges us, either we advance or we retreat. There is no middle ground. Either we surrender to fear and the devilish functions, which are the negativity in our own lives or the lives of others, or we challenge this negativity and deepen our conviction in faith. This difference in resolve determines everything. The first step in confronting obstacles is to chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo to the Gohonzon, with the determination to win over all devilish functions. The wisdom and powerful life state we gain through prayer allows us to see devilish functions for what they are, challenge them head-on, and use them as opportunity to transform our karma and establish even stronger resolve. The second step is striving to unite with our fellow members in SGI, contacting other members for encouragements or constantly encouraging other members. And this is what I'm doing all the time. I would contact other members for encouragement or to answer questions that I have. Rather than being controlled by our environment, we need to engage actively in our faith and practice of Nichiren Buddhism. Through interacting with those striving for Kosen Rufu, we strengthen our own. Lasting happiness can be achieved through learning to win over our inner darkness or ignorance. President Ikeda explains, Buddhism is a struggle between the Buddha and the devil. It is by drawing out into the open battling and defeating the 3 obstacles and 4 devils, that we ourselves can become Buddhas. By continuously engaging in this challenge to activate our fundamental enlightenment, we can forge an indestructible foundation of happiness when obstacles and devilish functions emerge. That is exactly the time to fight to change our karma and to win for the sake of our happiness. Nichiren says, "A sword is useless in the hands of a coward. The mighty sword of the Lotus Sutra must be used by one courageous in faith." Encountering obstacles is part of life. No one can escape them. But rather than reacting out of fear, we practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism instead summon courage as we use the mighty sword of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. Well, it is natural for us to fear when something bad happens, but we can overcome our fear by chanting to the Gohonzon and telling ourselves that everything is all right. Everything will be okay. I have the Gohonzon and I'm the Buddha. By decisively facing and overcoming negative functions and obstacles, we can transform our karma and reveal our full potential while fulfilling our unique missions in life. Now, the next I'll talk about faith is found in daily life. The purpose of religion should be to enable people to lead happy, fulfilling lives. Buddhism exists for this very reason. Enlightenment is an all-encompassing condition that includes sense of fulfillment and joy, and fills every aspect of our lives, enabling us to live in the most valuable and contributive way. This idea is expressed in the SGI through the principle that faith equals daily life. Nichiren Daishonin stressed that through our Buddhist practice, our inner condition becomes strong and healthy. When we bring forth the true reality of our Buddha nature, we can act with energy and wisdom to excel at work, at school, and contribute to the well-being of our families and communities. Nichiren writes, "When the skies are clear, the ground is illuminated. Similarly, when one knows the Lotus Sutra, one understands the meaning of all worldly affairs." For us, knowing the Lotus Sutra means chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo courageously to the Gohonzon and participating in SGI activities for our own and others' happiness. This causes our Buddha nature to surge, filling us with rich life force and wisdom. We, in effect, come to understand the meaning of all worldly affairs. The teaching and practice of Buddhism enables us in this way to win in daily life. SGI emphasizes and encourages people to apply Buddhist practice to win in their lives. This accords with Nichiren's emphasis on actual results or actual proofs as the most reliable measure of the power of Buddhist teaching. As he says, nothing is more certain and more powerful than actual proofs. So this is why we are always encouraged to gain actual proof, to strengthen our faith and to encourage other people. At monthly SGI discussion meetings, members share experiences that result from faith and practice, and joyfully refresh their determination to advance and grow. Mr. Makaguchi, the first president, established a discussion meeting and described them as venues to prove the life of major good. Hearing and sharing experiences in faith give us insight into how Buddhist practice enriches people's lives and inspire us to strengthen our resolve. Discussion meetings are forums for confirming the purpose of Buddhism, which is to enable every person to win in life and become happy. So this is why I always encourage people to attend as many SGI meetings and functions as we can. Two purposes. One, to be encouraged, and two, to encourage. We should also understand that chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo produces the most meaningful rewards when accompanied by action or effort. Any religion promising results without effort would be similar to magic. But even if we could get what we wanted through magic, we would not grow in character, develop strength, or become happy in the process. Buddhist practice complements and strengthens the effects of any effort. A student may chant to pass a test, but the surest thing to passing is to match such prayers with serious effort in study. The same applies to all matters of daily life. Just chanting without action can be regarded as mere superstition. The power of chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo to the Gohonzon is unlimited. It fills us with the energy we need to keep striving and with the wisdom to take the best, most effective action. When we act with this energy and wisdom, we will undoubtedly see our prayers realized. President Ikeda says, the Gohonzon is the ultimate manifestation of human wisdom and the Buddha wisdom. That's why the power of the Buddha and the law emerge in exact accordance with the power of your faith and practice. If the power of your faith and practice equals a force of 100, then they will bring forth the power of the Buddha and the law to the degree of 100. And if it is a force of 10,000, then it will produce that degree of corresponding power. When President Ikeda visited the United States in 1990, he said to SGI members, I sincerely hope that treasuring your lives and doing your best at your jobs, each of you without exception will lead a victorious life. It is for this reason that we carry out our practice of faith. We can view our immediate environment and responsibilities at work, in our families, and in our communities as training grounds in faith and in life. In this way, we can use every difficulty as an opportunity to further activate our Buddha nature through chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and win in the affairs of society. Then we can grasp the real joy of applying the principle that faith equals daily life. In saying the above, Buddhism in daily life means that whatever we come across or do in our daily life, such as the ways in which we typically act, think, and feel on a daily basis. Our daily life is the things that we do every day as part of our normal life, such as studying, parenting, going to work, or even mundane work like cooking and cleaning your home, is part of our Buddhist practice. We need to determine in all aspects of our life that we are practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism. By using our best efforts in whatever we do, be responsible for our actions and duties, and respect all people around us. I remember when I was in Hong Kong, I joined the volunteer group to clean the center. And we have to sweep the floor and mop the floor. And there is a special way to do it. I didn't know then when I was taught, and everybody did it diligently. So this is a way of showing our Buddhahood. And I was told by my senior member, she said, when we clean the center, we are cleaning our lives. Because at that time, I know I've got very bad karma. So I try to clean the center as much as I can, hoping that I can clean my karma as well. And I did it very seriously and very diligently. Okay, let me go on. Some people will say, I have a lot of chores or studying to do, and have no time for chanting or attending Buddhist meetings. Okay, now it comes down to chicken and egg. The more we chant and contribute to Kozen Rufu, the easier our chores or studying will be. For example, if we need 3 hours to study a certain subject, before we start to study, we first chant for maybe 15 minutes. Then we can reduce our study time to maybe half. For example, 1 hour instead of 3. Why? Because chanting activates our Buddhahood. And we know then exactly what we have to concentrate on, instead of chewing on every word in the book. In the end, we can achieve more with less time. Same is true in whatever we do in our life. A senior member in Hong Kong told me, she said, "Lydia, before you do anything, chant first, and the result will be like day and night." This is true. It is similar to our using Google to search for information. Now this is me talking. Everyone uses Google to try to find things they want, look for housing or clothes. I use Google for clothes, for finding clothes, or use Google Maps to navigate our destination. Now, little do we know that the Gohonzon's wisdom, intelligence, and information is trillion times more powerful than Google. I have used an analogy to say to name the Gohonzon as www.gohonzon.com. Actually, some people ask me how to log into this web, but this is just an example to tell everyone that if we need certain information, we can always log on to the gohonzon.com. That is to pray to the Gohonzon, to ask the Gohonzon, what should we do? Where can I find this? Or what is best for me? And the Gohonzon knows what is best for us. Google may give you some answers, but Google doesn't know whether the answers are the best for you. But the Gohonzon does. I use these strategies all the time. From things like, where should I travel, to quiet places and see beautiful scenery. And then after asking the Gohonzon, I saw a TV program telling me about a celebrity who went to Switzerland, to the remote villages, and the scenery is exactly what I like to see. So I followed her path and I went there and I was so happy. So this is the answer I got. And when Kevin came to Sydney, I asked the Gohonzon which school is best for Kevin. And there were 3 schools, and I would not dare to tell Kevin which one is best for him. So I just chanted and chanted. And at the end, he did not go into the school that he wanted most, and he get into the 3rd choice, which proved to be the best one for him later on. So I use this strategy all the time. I ask the Gohonzon questions all the time, and I got answers. And the Gohonzon never let me down. I was able to find all the answers which served the best of my interest. So this is why I would encourage everyone to talk to the Gohonzon, to ask Gohonzon questions, and then you'll get the best answers for yourself. Now sometimes your stubbornness overrides the answers from the Gohonzon. All right, so in which case you say, the Gohonzon doesn't work. And this is not true. You have to forget your stubbornness and then use an open mind, and you will see the answers coming. The next topic is, hardship can be our teacher. President Ikeda says, these days, people actively try to avoid hard work. They seem to feel that working hard is old-fashioned or a waste of energy. However, this is definitely not the case. In essence, all our efforts are for our own sake. This is an age without discipline, a time when, if you are inclined to depend on others, there is no limit to how dependent you can become. Because of this, those who actively seek out hard work will gain great reward and benefit. Those who thoroughly forge themselves and develop an undefeatable self will be victorious. Where else but in the SGI can you find such a precious world of self-education? Chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo morning and evening and introducing others to Buddhism, we tackle academics, jobs, family, social circles, extracurriculars, avoiding not the slightest responsibility. In this way, we train ourselves to become individuals and leaders who will solve the challenges facing mankind. We don't have to be great right now, but we can use this time to become great individuals. How do we become great? By holding fast to powerful and noble ideals. In other words, by living true thought, word, and action to the philosophy of Nichiren Buddhism. As for myself, it is through overcoming the hardships that I have grown. I have been undergoing lots and lots of hardships. But I did not give up. I tried my best to overcome them. Initially, I did not have the Gohonsen, I did not have the chanting, so my life was very, very hard when I tried to tackle my problems. But still, I forged on. Later, after my practice, I also had lots of problems. But each time I had problem, I would go and chant to the Gohonsen, and my problem was solved. And every time I solved my problem, I was in a better situation. I rose above. Now, because of all the hardships, I've overcome them, and I've become the person I am today. Without these hardships, quite true, I may not have the personality, the means or the strength to be successful in all my business endeavors and in raising my 2 children, and now taking care of my little Chloe, my beloved Chloe. So this is why I would encourage everybody not to fear hardship. Just do your best to overcome them, and at the end, you will find happiness. So this is all I have to share today. Thank you very much for attending the meeting. So I would